In this process, no one other than the board will be speaking. That's not by my rules, that's state law.
How you doing?
We have a list of questions. The questions will be asked of both people applying.
For a while. How you been doing?
Hey, Lennon! Thanks, buddy. They're the same questions. They will get the answers from each independent person. They will be addressed by each person independently. In other words, there will only be one candidate in here at a time. In case you're wondering, we had 3 candidates. One of them has decided to pull his application, leaving us the 2. That being the situation, to decide who goes first, we're going to do it by the old democratic method of a coin toss. Would you mind coming closer? Kevin, come on up here.
Get bar coin, don't you?
Yeah, I got broke.
Is there a official committee for that? You gotta break it up.
Well, it's simple. Who wants to call?
Go ahead.
Heads.
What is it?
Heads.
Heads. You have the choice of whether you want to answer first or be excused first. In case you're wondering, we have arrangements over at the police department that the person not here inside will be over there drinking coffee. The limitation on all questions will come to 10 minutes and no more. Fair to both?
Fair.
Okay. You have the choice of what you would like to do.
I'll retire.
All right, then it's all, here, have a seat. I presume you know me, you know Bob? Mm-hmm. John Reeder, the lawyer? Okay. See if I forgot anything. Okay, for the first question, what will you bring to the town that you did not mention on your application?
First start out, I'll bring 38 years of law enforcement experience. Roughly, that is breaks down to about 75,000 hours of on-the-job experience, not counting overtime or anything like that. But, I'll bring hundreds of hours of training that I've already had. I'll be bringing also hundreds of hours of courtroom experience. I've had experience throughout the police area in management. Could tell you about a little bit about myself to explain all that if you'd like. I started out in my early 20s and went 38 years in law enforcement. First 20 years I was a patrolman with the Anderson Police Department. I then went into management for the remainder of my career. During those first 20 years, I probably experienced everything a policeman could ever experience and multiple times. I think that in management then I was lucky enough to have other leadership that allowed me to travel through the department, and I was able to command all 3 shifts of the uniform division, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I was commander of the traffic division where I was head of the fatality team. Also worked with the Madison County fatality team during that time. In the traffic division was responsible for every city event. That means every parade, every funeral, escort, some an hour long, some days long, like the Black Expo or the Anderson Free Fair. That included all the organization of that event and everything from putting out cones to doing the law enforcement during the event. Over those years, probably dozens, if not, well, hundreds probably. We probably did about 75 events per year. So there's nothing there I haven't experienced or gone through, although there's always something that crops up, I'm sure. I then moved on to the upper management of the police department, where I was third, held the rank of major. I was responsible for filling out and inventing the budget for the police department, presenting that to the mayor and the city controller, then to the city council, and then approval with the state board of accounts. I'm sure you're familiar with that procedure. Our budget was around $10 million. When I left, it was $11 million. That included everything from salary to equipment and so on. I not only formulated that budget, but I was also administered that budget through 82 accounts and 3 orgs with the State Board of Accounts. During that time, I never had one misstep or issue with the State Board of Accounts. And after that, I went back to Uniform Patrol, and then after retiring, went 3 years with the prosecutor's office, where I served as director of the Adult Protective Services. That service encompassed 7 counties in this area. I had the responsibility of 7 counties with the 7 prosecutors assisting adults who needed help in their life at the time.
Okay, it ain't over there, it's in the town hall.
So
Yeah.
that's why I can bring
No, you ain't supposed to
to
bring
the
it.
What's your
town
son's a
hall.
wealth of experience?
Yes, sir.
Next question. Are you ready for the next?
Yes, sir.
What do you see as appropriate use of vehicles?
You're talking about the police vehicles?
Mm-hmm.
Appropriate use is for patrol. You know, you get the halo effect where they're marked and you see them, and that creates an atmosphere of behavior with the public, and to be used to, you know, block traffic and a normal law enforcement agenda.
There's been some question about staying in town, going out of town. How would you address that issue?
I think with our town here in Markleville, if I was working an 8-hour shift, I wouldn't see it to be a problem for an officer to go to Pendleton and get something to eat or something. We don't have a lot of restaurants here in town, etc. I wouldn't want them to spend their time there. Also, I think that we have to work with other law enforcement communities. With our limited resources and limited budget and limited manpower, you have to partner up with the Madison County and Pendleton and surrounding areas. So you have to respond a lot of times on their calls. Mutual aid is what's called, and so I would want permission or the town to encourage us to go out of town on official business to do that. So we get that in like too. You know, there's a lot of things that don't happen daily here, but there's times where you might need 2 or 3 other officers to help you.
Sure.
So that would be my thoughts on using the police car. I wouldn't want to use it as a personal vehicle. But that, you know, I don't think that is appropriate for the budget that we have.
Okay. How do you perceive the operational relationship between the board and the office of marshal?
Well, it's absolute. The town board, who by statute deals with public safety and public officers. You don't have a fire department, but if you did, fire and police, you are actually the safety board by definition. Safety board to a police department is the higher ups, it's these extreme commanders. So the town board, being the same as a safety board in the situation, you are the boss. I mean, you are the final word of the police department over the town marshal.
Okay. How would you perceive flexible hours as the Markleville marshal?
Well,
What I mean there is,
yeah,
you might work 14 hours one day and 3 the next. How would you balance all this out to be fair to you and fair to the town?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can break down the salary into an hourly wage and then be only willing to work that. A small community, and I've worked in a small community before, you have to be willing to be flexible, and that's just can't be a concern. It's a give and take, police work comes in bunches sometimes like bananas. You get just a flurry of calls and you might go 3 weeks with nothing. So I don't think you can, I wouldn't divide it or try to say I'm only gonna work X amount of hours for X amount of pay. You just don't worry about it. If you worry about that, you shouldn't take a job in a community like this. It's just not that I'd be willing to work 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
But if you had a situation, you had to be on that call, if it was a death investigation or something, for an extended period of time, it just has to be. And then I think that a level-headed, sensible person then could make it up, other days where he planned to work 4 hours, maybe only work 3 or something. So.
Last question. There are already 7 officers. How would you perceive their use in the future?
The officers that are here with the department are critical. They are to the department. I view the town marshal as someone that is like the stable person, the person that you have to get all the work done basically through your workforce. The marshal would be training the other people, making sure they have the tools in their toolbox to, when they get out of the car, to handle the job. An officer like this one back here in uniform, you don't know whether he's the most qualified person in the world or where he just put the uniform on today when he comes to your door when you summons him for help. And he wants to be the best he can be. Mm-hmm. And I think it's the duty of the town marshal to pass knowledge along and information along, where when that person comes to your door, the people in Markleville, that he can do the job without question, and he should have that comfortable feeling too. There's nothing worse than going and you really not knowing what you're doing. You don't get a second shot at it. You hire a plumber and your drain stopped up and he didn't get it unstopped, you just got a drain that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. If your mother dies and you're not sure whether it's foul play or not, you only get one shot at it. Mm-hmm. If the guy that's responding doesn't analyze things first the correct way and do things the first 3 or 4 steps, even though he might call for help at step 5, if he's boogered up the first 4 steps, he can call the FBI and it's not going to do any good. Mm-hmm. Because it's useless information. So training and guidance and being from here, I would be only a 30-second call away anyway. Mm-hmm. But they're the backbone of the department.
Okay. Bob?
I'm satisfied. That answered mine.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. That's the 5 questions.
All right.
I would ask you now to go to the police department and send Kevin over here.
No
because
problem.
He's going to answer the same
Thank you,
questions.
Van.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Tom.
Thank all of you.
I might add in this little interim here, about 20 minutes ago, Mike Ernst called me, and Mike will not be here. He's feeling some chest pains. We do have a quorum present. We will go ahead with the process because there is a quorum present. So if you have question about where's Mike, that's the story. Brown. Yeah, I should have introduced him to the crowd. I failed. Nothing new. Those you don't know, this is Kevin Allen.
How you doing, Kevin?
Hello?
You will be asked the same 5 questions that we asked Mr. Brown. Same order, everything's the same. What are you bringing to the town that you did not mention in your application?
I'm a licensed paramedic, state certified EMT. I've put together a network of town marshals and chiefs that I can refer to with questions if need be. I have a working relationship with most of the town marshals in Madison County Sheriff's Department. That has been nurtured over the past 2 months. I'm a people person. I read people pretty well.
That's in it. Okay. Second question. What are you perceiving as appropriate use of vehicles in town and out?
Police business. If it's not police business, you shouldn't be using a vehicle. If I send an officer for training, I believe they should. I believe they should be able to take one of the vehicles to that training because it is for the department. I believe it's a busy time of day. The chief should be able to take a vehicle into town, being Anderson. I don't know, to get a gallon of milk or something like that, in case they need to come back and assist an officer, they need to be able to get here quickly. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning, that's a little different story. You just go out and get in your own vehicle. Chances of you getting a run at 2 o'clock in the morning that you have to hurry for is slim compared to like 5 o'clock in the evening when it's rush hour and you can't get through. Other than that, I just believe they need to stay in town.
That's it? Okay. What do you perceive the operational relationship between the board and the office of marshal to be?
The office marshal should be transparent to the board. We're subservient to the board. The board is our boss. They should know everything that's going on in the police department, organizational wise, personnel wise, training wise. So that way when questions come up from the board, why are you doing this or why is the money being spent for this, they already have an idea what's going on.
So you're saying that you're looking for transparency then? That's it?
Well, you guys as our boss need to know what's going on in the police department at all times, okay? We have questions that we need to be able to ask you or one of the board members, so we ought to be able to call and ask. And you, and the same, ought to be able to call and ask questions of the marshal and get answers.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. How do you perceive the flexible hours of Markleville's marshal?
Markleville marshal's on call at all times, so he needs to be extremely flexible in his hours. He needs to have business hours during the day in the department for people to be able to come and get gun permits, answer questions, answer the phones, those types of things. There are times that the marshal can't be around for personal reasons. I mean, they do have a life, but they have to understand that they're on call, so they should carry a radio and a phone and be accessible.
That's it. What was the fifth one? I forgot.
You plan on doing with Pleasant?
Yeah. What do you plan on doing with the present police force?
I plan on keeping the officers that I have. They're all a good bunch of officers. We are going to expand the police force. I have applications over there now. It's a good group of guys. I got all kinds of experience over there. So we use them as we can. We use their knowledge as we can. So I'll keep them.
Anything else to add?
No.
Okie dokie. Then I'll ask you to join Mr. Brown and have a cup of coffee, and then we'll call you both back.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Kevin.
Kevin.
Did you read that? Now then, based on the resumes that were submitted in the conference we had on the 16th or whatever it was, I would entertain a motion. I can't make motions. I should ask it for discussion first of all.
He answered all my questions, or they both answered questions, I think, completely to the best. I don't know of anything we need to discuss. I know what I'm expecting out of the police. Outside that, you got anything you want to say?
Not really, they're both qualified. I think there's a, that could get expensive. Not really. They're both, all three of them were nip and tuck. One's a little stronger here, one's a little less here, one's better there, one's better here. It's just a question of the vote.
Oh, I'm gonna make a motion that we, hire Kevin, and leave him in, where he's at, and I'll make that motion.
I will second the motion. Motion's been made and seconded. Those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. You don't have to vote, Mark. Could you go get Mr. Brown and Kevin? What do you think about that?
This goes with it.
Oh, okay. We'll do that. We got the phone system all fixed.
Good.
As it were, being two people here, we have voted. Kevin, you are elected. Mr. Brown, we thank you. Your dedicated service, and I One's here and one's here, and over here it's close. I mean, it's just,
No
but I
problem.
want to thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Well,
Thank you,
appreciate
Bob.
you
That's
taking
all.
the time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Luck to you.
But it's, in looking at the resumes and doing the research and the investigation, I mean, I don't know how much more close you could make it. That being done, we will now move on to the regular agenda. Oh, while I'm sitting here thinking, for the purposes of contractual obligation, I know you people are gonna love this, we're going to call an executive meeting sometime. What we're looking at right now is that, first of all, Kevin, will you accept the position?
I will.
Okay. Now then, we have to decide a contract. If that contract agreement cannot be met, we will have to go through the process again. Assuming that it is met, we have to come forth and make those announcements at a public forum, which would be the next meeting, which would actually be the signing. So, right now, we have elected Kevin to continue as marshal, and the contractual agreements, the compensation will stay as it is until, when can we meet, John? And again, the purpose is merely to come to a contract.
Twentieth, 6 o'clock. Does that work?
A week from tonight,
Yeah.
Wayne, you got a park?
Yeah, 7 o'clock. Sure it won't take you guys that long.
What time did you say, John?
6?
6, yeah, we could.
I'm good with it.
Is that okay with you, Kevin? Do you want to have your attorney present when we sit down? You're, Ken, if you want to. John will be here. So, okay. So it'll be next Monday night at 6 o'clock then.
So it will be stated and posted that an executive session for the purpose of determining a contract will be met. Financial report.
Got the financial report attached. Go to the third page. It's easier reading for you. It shows receipts for the month in each category. No major receipts. General fund took in about 15,000. Dispersed 8,000 for the month. No other major expenditures. We transferred money between the police equipment fund and the general fund to cover an expense out of that. Any balances are there in the third column. 157,000 with the general fund, 15 for local road and street. Motor vehicle highway, 10,000. Local law and continuing education, 10,000 and some change. Cumulative capital improvement, balance of 13,500. Rainy day fund, 3,700. Riverboat, 19,000. Cable franchise, 26,000 roughly. Fire equipment, general fund, 113,000. Equipment replacement fund for the fire territory, 148. Ambulance donation, 15. Fire donation, 15,500. Sewer operated maintenance, 86,000. Sewer depreciation, 5,000. Sinking fund for the sewer for loan payments, 2,300. Police equipment fund, 14,000. Community building fund, $477. Park donation fund, 26,000. Food food and beverage, Memorial Square, D800, Town Hall food and beverage, 2800. So again, I don't have anything abnormal from normal distributions or contributions. So I'd entertain any questions.
Is this inclusive of the check to cover the repair of the street down here?
Yes.
Okay. So we actually aren't sitting bad at all. Okay.
I would say we can't afford too many of those, but
Oh, yeah. In case you're wondering, that repair down there was $19,000. But it had to be made too.
I'll make a motion, we file the treasurer's report.
Motion's been made, the treasury report be filed. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Town Marshal's report.
Got 324 and a half hours last month. I had 160 and a half. Officer Stonesacker had 50. Officer Allen had 20. Officer LeGrand had 24 and a half. Officer Troxel had 15.5. Officer Squires had 29 and a half. Officer Geddes had 16 and a half. Vehicle 1 used 42 gallons last month, and we put 5 gallons in the motorcycles. They're up and running. We had 1 call out last month. We wrote 5 tickets. We had 3 verbal warnings for speed. We had 3 theft reports, 1 report of a trouble with, 1 domestic dispute, 1 gun permit. Pre-basic class is ongoing for Officer Gaddis. We put new tires on the Dodge, and 9 Star has installed our new telephones. Our training last month was TASER recertification for all of the officers. That's it.
Street report. Sam, street report.
I'll have to report.
Okay. Parks report.
I want to remind everybody that the first weekend of May will be the State Road 38 rummage sale. So it'll be crazy probably in town because it always is every year. And that'll be covered. We'll have booths down at the park. And we have 4 dates for the antique tractor pull. That's June 20th, July 18th, August 1st, and September 19th. If anybody is interested in pulling their antique tractor, they'll be at the park. We had last year, we had a problem with the lock at the door on the concession stand, and we was a little late getting in there because we had to get the lock replaced so we could get in and get the key. Gary Barkus comes, ever since we've had that concession, Gary Barkus, who lives out on 109, is a plumber. He comes every year and takes all the water out, blows the lines out, and takes everything apart, and he donates his time to do this. And he comes back in the spring and puts all the water on, does everything, puts it back in order. Well, this year, since we were late getting in there, we had a couple problems, and I got a bill for Mark where we had to replace a couple things. And it's not going to kill you, it's only $112.
it's your budget.
But anyway, I know he gets mad when he has to spend money. But as far as that, I do want to ask you a question. Jan and I come up and mow the Memorial Square, take care of that. I came up this time and my push mower wouldn't start. So last year I had a problem with my push mower, and the town has a mower. And I don't know the situation there. If I do have a problem with my push mower, would that be a problem to use it?
Belongs to the town.
It's supposed to use it. I would say use it anyway, even if yours is running.
Okay, but all I'm saying, I don't know where that's at or any of that stuff now. You know, Kevin, you have any idea about the push mower?
I have no idea.
it's
It might-
either,
It might be back here in this
Well,
garage.
that's where I got it from back there last year.
Okay.
So if I have any more problems, I'll get with you. Is that all right?
Just holler at me, I'm usually next door during the week, during the day.
Okay, okay. And really, I just want to mention to everybody that anybody that wants to drive through the park and see any activity that's not supposed to be going on, I'd appreciate it if they would call the police department, because we have had problems in the past with vandalism and stuff. It hasn't really been a big deal, but just like the locks last year, we had to replace those because of it. So if people would kind of look over there as they drive by and just kind of see what's going on, I think the park board would appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, and also, we had a problem with the merry-go-round, and Justin Miller and his brother went down and fixed it because it was broke at the base. The weld had come apart. They pulled it off and fixed it and put it back. And so I want to thank him. That saved a bunch of time and money for him doing that. So hopefully we have a good year down there.
thank you, Wayne. Sewer report, Sam? Okay,
John Reader, I gave you a paper there, so you can read this more, what you wanna do.
I gave it to them.
well, announce too, Sam's resigning, from the sewer, services. What do we do? Just accept it or vote on it or what?
That's up to you.
I'm not renewing the contract because I haven't had a key for 3 months, it said. On there, nor have I had any contact from any town board members whatsoever, so I don't have access to computers, keys, maps, what have you.
It's for the street, sewer, and environmental.
So he's resigning from all three?
Yes.
You gonna make the motion?
Oh, we have to have a motion. Should we have a motion? I'll make a motion. We accept Sam's resignation from the sewer, streets, and
Environmental.
environmental. I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made, I'll second it. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Attorney's report.
No report tonight.
No report tonight. Planning Commission.
No report to give. We changed the night of the meeting to 1 hour before this meeting, starting next month.
It started this.
Started next month.
It's already started, pal.
It started next month because we just got to put in the paper. So, but yes, we changed the night to 1 hour before the town council meeting. And I will be attending. You're welcome. I wasn't talking to you.
Okay, comments by citizens present. Yeah, Bob.
Question.
Sure.
Mark read his report a while ago, financial report. There was something in there about having to transfer funds from the police equipment fund to the general fund or back and forth. I haven't really seen that much new equipment.
It was for Sam's police vehicle that we bought,
Okay.
and it's not predetermined
Not
money from the
predetermined.
SAR that you're, or for the church either. No, it's money that was there.
Oh, okay.
You good?
We moved on that to buy that vehicle. I mean, we done.
I remember that.
Okay,
It was just a transfer. It wasn't, you know, there was no information.
Yeah, Wayne.
Now, since Sam has resigned, who do we call if we have a sewer problem?
Call me,
Who?
call me and we'll
Why you don't
take
have
your,
one?
pardon me?
You don't have one,
Don't have one want.
a sewer.
Well, that's where it falls on my shoulders and the board's. Oh, you mean, I personally don't have a sewer? Oh,
Grandfathered in.
that's pertinent.
Let's
Yeah,
go
just
back.
call.
Wait a minute, let me answer Wayne's question. I called, my neighbors went out and I called, Fredericks, Jerry Fredericks, and they are gonna fill in for Sam, but now that he's resigned, they'll be full-time right now.
Okay, so as a citizen, do you want us to call Fredericks or call one of you guys?
I don't know, we can talk about that, what do you think?
I think you should call one of us.
Okay, that's fine, I just think everybody ought to know.
Yeah.
Okay, call me or Harp, either one.
Okay.
We call Alan. He's
Call who?
More readily available.
Alan.
The police chief.
Oh, Kevin? Yeah. He'll get word to us.
How's that new phone system, is it hooked up so it'll go to you or the sewer or the town board?
If they
Or
dial 533-2354 number, which is the town number.
that's the town, okay.
There's a system set up that they can push one for the police department, 2 for town clerk, 3 for the town sewer, 4 for the town board, that kind of thing. And it'll go to a voicemail that each one of the parties can pick up.
That's good, and there's your answer, call the
That's what we just called
Markleville number, and
The number is in the phone book, for the police.
that's 2354, right?
I got a question. Hey Kevin, if I call that number for the police department, is it gonna take you 3 or 4 hours to come and see what's wrong like it did Sam?
He
That
works in
voice,
Indianapolis at IPL over there, or PPL.
Let him talk. Go ahead and talk.
Talking to you.
I don't care.
Enough. The question was sarcastic, the answer
No, it
was,
wasn't
Yeah.
sarcastic.
it will be addressed in the most expedient fashion possible.
The
Why was that
answer-
sarcastic?
the answer to your question is, if you leave a voicemail, it comes to my phone.
Yeah.
And we will be talking to that when we meet with Kevin for his contract and stuff, yeah.
I wasn't trying to be funny, man, I was just asking.
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, it'll be taken care of. Yeah, Scott.
I have a question for our new police chief. There's 2 cars running around town that's like doing 80 mile an hour up and down my road and all down through here and down 38. 2 white cars.
We'd appreciate it if you
Yeah,
at least pull them over. They're young kids. They're hot roddies.
I mean, they're going fast. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
I got one of them at 64 mile an hour on my radar gun down here on Old so they all go fast.
And it's posted 20.
Excellent.
So, can you check on that? We appreciate it.
All times of the night, so.
And
It
they
continues.
have it out there. No pipes or big loud pipes.
I know who one of them is.
Okay. I
I've seen the
appreciate
car, the white car. County has already talked to him,
Well,
but I will,
yeah, he didn't listen.
I will.
Thank you.
Is that it, Scott?
That's it, buddy.
Okay.
I
Jack?
have a question. I know at the last meeting or the one before, I had asked who actually is the town attorney. And you, for Mr. Reader, of course, but I got a copy of a letter. It was an answer to a complaint I had filed on the open door policy. And the town responded, but I got a copy of that response. It's from Ice Miller, legal counsel. And it said, "Dear Mr. Brewer," who was the trustee or counselor or whatever for that committee, "we serve as counsel to the town council of the town of Markleville. This letter serves as a response to the town to formal complaint," and so forth, and I'm not going to bore you with 2 pages of complaint. Who exactly is representing the town of Markleville? And I didn't hear anything about extra legal fees. Who's paying for Ice Miller?
You wanna answer that? You wanna answer that?
He is the attorney of record. It has been requested back several months ago that we bring in additional counsel. Ice Miller was the company that we brought in. That answers your question.
Is it budgeted for that or whatever?
Well, it's kind of
That
hard
was
to.
my concern
Yeah,
more
it's
than
kind of-
anything.
oh, no,
They're
we're-
expensive firm.
Yes, they're very expensive. I have conferred with Ice Miller as recently as a week ago Friday. It is anticipated by them, because I asked the same question, that the town will be under no burden financially. So, then it goes from there.
Okay, you
So-
answered my question.
You're welcome. Any more questions? Yes, Dan?
I know last year, Mr. Greider was paid to take care of mowing a few properties for the town. Who has that contract this year?
I don't know of anybody.
Don't know anybody?
Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to look into it. Make a note of that, because we're gonna start needing it.
I'm not available.
Do you know how many hours that typically involves for what all properties did he cover?
How you do that, Dan, is when somebody gets an environmental ticket that won't
Right.
keep up the yard, then the town has to go through the legal process and do it, and it's on a case-by-case basis.
I assume there were a few property, was there any town property that was taken care of with that as well, or was that just for?
Just
environmental
for
purposes?
environmental.
Oh, okay.
The reason why I'm saying that, I used to do that. I and Sam and Dan Greider, I quit doing it a few years. I didn't think I should do it as a member of the board, and
Right.
so I quit doing it. But that's the way we do it, as a case-by-case basis.
Keep mosquitoes down and
Yeah.
all everything.
Oh, no, it makes,
you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
That got you? Okay. No more questions? Unfinished business. No unfinished business, new business.
I've got one piece of new business. We need to approve a additional appropriation for expenditures for the fire territory. In the amount,
Is this that quarterly payment we have to make, or?
no, this is, a purchase on, what was it, Dan?
You're gonna have to refresh me.
The 2,400 to, Donnelly Safety, that initial, I think it was something for one of the vehicles.
Well, there was lights.
Hey, I thought you turned that over to them. The town has nothing to do with that
It
anymore,
doesn't take
right?
effect until January
It's-
16th.
I'm still managing the funds for the entire year.
Okay.
So we'll still have these
Okay.
conversations.
That was for
This
scene
is
lights.
for last year.
That was for scene lights that we purchased this year with last year's funds.
So the amount of $2,511.88 processes, you guys approve that, and then we submit it to the DLGF for their final approval to cover funds from last year, since the expense started last year.
I move that we make that payment.
I'll second it.
Yeah, it's already been paid, but
Okay, that payment, is that better? Put that in the
no,
motion.
approve the appropriation.
Approve the
Yes.
appropriation.
Good.
Motion's been made that we approve the appropriation. Those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Any other new business? Well, that's basically it. We got claims. We gotta sign some checks.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second the motion. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Tom, thanks so much.